In this video, the first of a brand new series, I'm going to be trying to attempt and break down the A-Force affiliation in 15 minutes or under. Hey guys, Rich from Rich Big Gaming. I hope everyone is doing fantastic and well. Welcome to this, a brand new MCP video and the first video in a brand new series that I am attempting to try and do. We are in a new world of MCP. There are lots of new crisis cards. There's been erratas to characters, and it's fair to say that the landscape, I don't like using the word meta, but the landscape of the game is definitely shifting. The dust hasn't settled quite yet, but what I thought I would do as a video series is try and go through each and every affiliation and give you a higher level overview than what I normally do. And then at the end of it, or as we go through it, build a roster that I think could potentially work really well in this new world, this post-War of the Kings world that we're talking about in Marvel Crisis Protocol at the moment. So what I'm going to be trying to do is break down each and every affiliation, starting with A-Force, working through from A all the way through to X. Is that the last one? W? I don't know what the last letter of... I know Z is the last letter of the alphabet. I just don't know which one it is for Marvel Crisis Protocol. So we're going to go through, we're going to take a look at the leaders, we're going to take a look at some core characters that I think work really well. And I'm going to be trying to do each one of these in 15 minutes or under. Now, my timer hasn't started yet. I'm going to be starting that from when we actually get into the crux of the video. But why 15 minutes? Well, you guys know I do a lot of longer form content, sometimes 3.5 hours long. And they are quite time consuming. You know, you lose 50+% of your actual video footage when you edit it down. It takes a long time to edit. And also it's a lot to digest. So I thought if we can try and condense that down into 15 minutes, they could work really well. So starting from now then, let's jump in and let's break down A-Force in this brand new world of Marvel Crisis Protocol. Hey guys, sorry for interrupting the video. Editor Rich here. Turns out 15 minutes was very ambitious. So we're actually going to call these in 30 minutes or less. So there we go, back to the video. Okay, so A-Force. Luckily, we're starting off with an affiliation that only has a single leader. It is She-Hulk. And she has been one of the big problems with A-Force in the past. Why? Well, she is a 6th threat. And I think it's fair to say she's a only slightly undertuned 6th threat. She has the Hulk thing where she's got 20 stamina and that's it. She has no injured side. Now, I think for a couple of reasons in this new world, A-Force are going to be better off than what they were. But one of the big reasons is there are fewer big kaiju type characters now who can 20-0 She-Hulk in a single activation. It's still possible, but the likes of Thor 2 going, with the likes of, not Apocalypse, he's still here, with the likes of Thanos being sort of neutered down a little bit, I think she's going to be in a much better position. Let's take a quick look at her leadership. Defenders of Arcadia. When an allied character is damaged by an enemy effect, another allied character may gain 1 power. A character may not gain more than 1 power from this leadership ability per turn. So it's damage from an enemy effect. So that is anything, okay, any damage in the game apart from crisis damage and apart from bleed. So anything else is going to be counted as an enemy effect. Unless you do a beam attack and your own character's under there, then that's your own damage. So this leadership is all around being able to generate and dish out this additional power. Now, She-Hulk does have 1 card other than her affiliated cards that she's part of. That is Agents of Smash. We're not going to be taking Hulk in this list, so we can ignore that for the moment. But what else is going on with our affiliation? Well, we have 3 affiliated cards, all of which are really nice. We've got special delivery. This is drop off for people that don't remember this. When an A-Force character with flight begins a move action within 2 of She-Hulk, they may spend a power each. So it costs 2 power in total, 1 on each character. They make a move, and then they drop off She-Hulk within range 1 of themselves, and She-Hulk then gets to make a 0-cost attack. This is really, really good, and we're going to go into a couple of characters who really, really play around this quite nicely. A-Force Assemble. So an A-Force character may spend 3 power to play this card. When an allied character is defending against an attack this round, add 1 die to the defense roll for each other allied A-Force character within 2 of that character. This is a really, really nice way of just getting rid of some little, excess power, but also just making sure that characters you've got are going to stay alive for that little bit longer, especially with She-Hulk. She is a linchpin, but she's also a single point of weakness within the affiliation. Stalwart Determination. During the power phase, any number of allied A-Force characters may spend 1 power to play this card. Characters that spent power cannot be pushed or thrown by enemy effects. So you can place, you can advance, but no pushes, no throws. This is going to turn off, especially in the latter part of the game where maybe terrain has dissipated around the board. This is going to turn off a really big damage dealing opportunity for your opponent. All really, really good cards. And I'm telling you now, we're taking all 3 of them in our final roster because all 3 of them have a place and all 3 of them are actually really, really nice cards. So I want to move on now to the core. Whenever I'm building a list, I've always got a core in mind. Now, we have to remember that in this version of the game, 16 threat is the minimum, 20 threat is the highest. So my first core character, and I believe it's the latest addition to the A-Force, is the Mighty Thor, Jane Foster. She does 2 things exceptionally well. First of all, she's got flight, okay? So for special delivery, we've already got a medium move, medium base character to be able to get She-Hulk up the board. She also has 2 power, so she gains 2 power during the power phase. She has 4 Midgard, so she can make a charge, right? So she makes a move action followed by an attack action. It can be anything, but she gets to reroll 2 of her dice. 4s across the board, 8 stamina on her front. She's only size 2, but that's fine. She's a 5 threat as well, so we're able to bring a very, very viable higher threat character to deal with those situations where we know our opponent is going to be going very, very tall. She has got terrain throws. She has got a character throw on her builder, which is just really, really nice as well. Obviously, we can ignore her leadership because we're not going to be using it. And then if she be worthy, she can also reroll any of her defense dice against energy or physical if she spends 2 power. Really, really good character. And this, for me, is a very under-the-radar, big boost to A-Force. Let's take a look then at the next core character, or the final core character, and it's going to be Okoye. Yes, Okoye doesn't see a huge amount of play in lots of places anymore. One of Okoye's biggest problems is that power generation to make sure she's got that bodyguard online all of the time. Well, the nice thing with this list is somebody else takes a hit, you can pop 1 power into Okoye, and then she's probably going to have enough for the rest of the game to be able to use that bodyguard X number of times. Why is Okoye so good? Why is she a really good bodyguard character? Your opponent decides they're going to do their big attack, whatever it may be, and they're going to put it into She-Hulk. They're really going after her. Well, Okoye can spend 2 power, and you can have that big attack go into a 2-cost character rather than your 6-cost leader. It just makes sense. So this is it. This is going to be our core. So as I say, we've got Okoye, we've got She-Hulk, we've got Mighty Thor, and we've already mentioned that within that, we've got one option for special delivery. Let's have a look then at some other characters. So within this right now, we've got a 6, a 5, and a 2 threat. We obviously want to be taking some 3 threat characters with us. And boy, do A-Force have a plethora of bad to pretty decent to really, really good 3 threats. We've got Shuri, we've got Black Widow, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., Domino, Valkyrie, Wasp, Storm, Crystal, and Black Cat. There's lots of arguments for lots of these characters. For me, the only 2 that I wouldn't really consider taking, just because it's my own personal thing, Black Widow, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., I just think she's not very good at all. And then Storm. I think Storm, without her leadership, struggles quite a bit. But there's 3 characters who I want to focus in on, and that is going to be Wasp, Black Cat, and Valkyrie. Wasp. Why Wasp? Well, Wasp does a couple of things. First of all, when she's in her tiny form, she has a long move. How does she get into her tiny form? Well, she can spend 1 power and change. And when you use the transform, you place yourself within range 1 of your original character, and then she goes to teeny tiny Wasp. But when she goes into that tiny form, she has got that long move, which is really nice. She also has a really nice card in Pin Particles. Little bit underestimated. It can be used outside of her activation. She spends 2 power. She chooses another allied character within 3, then choose an interactive terrain feature size 3 or less within 3 of the chosen character, and throw it medium. This is a card that I think personally I've probably been sleeping on when it comes to Wasp or Ant-Man. It's really good, and the fact that you get to use it outside of her activations. Let's say that you activate with her and she doesn't have the power, right, to be able to do it, but over the duration of a round, she's gained a couple of power through that leadership. She can use this whenever she wants. She is also a really nice option for that special delivery because she has that long move. Now, you're going to need to be able to feed a power into her first, so that's not always guaranteed. I still think Mighty Thor is a better overall option. She's just, she's a 5 versus a 3. She's just an overall better character. But yeah, very, very viable. Black Cat. Black Cat is just amazing. She is tankier than you think. She can steal. She turns off all of your opponent's modification. And she's 1/2 of the Cat and the Spider, which is going to give us a potential midline extract play. And then lastly is Valkyrie. Valkyrie is just solid, and if you can get some extra power into her turn 1, she has that Asgardian might. Round 1, she has that Asgardian might where she can just double walk onto a point, spend 3 power, throw somebody off it, and all of a sudden you've just mixed it up and you've got a really nice VP swing. Okay, let's talk about 4 threats, because again there are a lot. We've got OG Captain Marvel, Gamora, the Black Widow, Spider-Woman, Medusa, Squirrel Girl, and Gwenpool. A bit of a mixed bag with this one, but again, Medusa, I really like her. Gamora's very, very good. The other 3, not so much. The 2 that I want to focus in on are going to be the Black Widow from the new core box, and then Spider-Woman we'll get onto in a moment. The Black Widow is just solid. Again, it's another long move. She dishes out shock. She dishes out stun. She has martial artists. When she would drop, she gets to choose. So when she would drop an objective, she gets to choose rather than your opponent. She's got stealth in there as well, that nice stealth martial artist mix. She also brings a really nice tactics card in the form of vertical assistance. During her turn, during her activation, she can spend 2 power, choose an allied character within 3. The chosen character gains wall crawler until the end of the round and immediately advances short in any direction. Out of action movement for characters, really, really nice. So yeah, I do like her. Spider-Woman, also really, really good as well. 4/3/4, another long move. We've got a lot of movement in this affiliation. She brings the nice thing of interrogate. It's a way of being able to score extra VPs. She can also steal or cause your opponent to drop all objectives that they're holding, which is really nice. Again, she's got that martial artist stealth. She's bioelectric strike, so she can dish out poison, shock, or stun. She can do all of them if she gets really, really lucky. And then she's got some action or some movement economy with that I don't fly, I glide, giving her a range 2 place. And remember, the idea is we can pump additional power into these characters, so turning that I don't fly, I glide on quicker, giving you more power for interrogate, giving you a quicker intoxicating blast. So really, really nice character. Do like her a lot. She also brings a really nice card, Double Agent. At the start of the activation phase, an allied Spider-Woman may spend 2 power to play this card. Choose an enemy character. The next time the chosen character gains an activated token, remove an activated token from Spider-Woman. This is a lot of mind games for your opponent. There's some really cool things that you can do with it. So yeah, I do like both of these as options for 4 threats. Okay, let's talk about some splash characters, because I think in the past people have gone down the road of just playing a lot of A-Force because those cards benefit A-Force quite greatly, but there are some better splash options, and when you calculate everything combined, their access to cards as an allied character, but then what these splash characters can bring, it's just no contest. So the first thing is we need a midline extract play. It's just something really that I think you really, really need in every list, especially with the new Crisis cards that are coming out. So who better than the Prince of Atlanta, whatever it is, Namor the Submariner. We know what Namor does. Medium base, long move. He's also giving our entire team rerolls with that charismatic leader. He's also another character that if we get power into, we can turn that charge on much, much quicker, potentially round 1. We've got Armies of the Deep, which again allows us to force our opponent to drop objectives, force them to be displaced. Really, really good character. Brings another really nice card as well in the form of Prince's Protection. This is his Heroes for Hire, Lethal Protector type thing, where he becomes the target of the attack. So moving those attacks around so our opponent doesn't get to try and take down who they want to take. This next one might seem like a bit of a weird one, but Maximus the Mad. I am starting to really like this guy, but not necessarily as a leader of the Inhumans, but he's got 2 things that I really, really like. We already know we've got a lot of bodyguards in our list, right? So that 2-3-5 isn't that bad. Yes, he's going to lose that power generation that he has through his leadership, but again, our leadership compensates for that. He brings some mystic attacks, which we are lacking. But the 2 things I really like is, did you forget you're here? Cost 2, choose a character within 3 with an activated token, advance that character short. This is both yours and your opponent's characters. Really, really nice. But the best thing on this card is it's madness, my favorite kind. These new Crisis cards are really pushing us in. They're not allowing us to move around the board a lot. And it really promotes people being closer in. If they're closer in, that range 3 for It's Madness, my favorite kind, is going to get more people. And the nice thing about this versus Crimson Dynamo's version of it is this is not a prepay. This is insane. Crimson Dynamo was taken in so many lists because of what he could do. I think with the right protection in place, Maximus can do an equally good job as well. So yeah, really like Maximus. And then lastly, and we've kind of already touched or teased on this one, is Spectacular Spider-Man. I really like Spectacular Spider-Man. He's a 3 threat that we can bring along with us. He's got the Web Slinger. He can choose an enemy character size 3 or less, throw it short, so he's got really good displacement. His Swinging Strike has got an elusive on there. His Impact Webbing, range 4. Not only is it a flat gainer, on a wild, he gets to push them away as well. Really, really good, solid all-round character. And he is the second half of our The Cat and the Spider, teaming up with Black Cat. So again, I really, really like him for our options. Okay, guys, that is our brief, very, very brief breakdown. It's a lot less than how I normally run these, but let's jump over and let's take a look at the list that we've put together and run you through that list and give you some idea of what it is we're going to be playing. Okay, guys, so here we go. Here are our 10 characters for our roster. Obviously, we've got She-Hulk leading the way. We've then got Okoye and the Mighty Thor. Rounding out with our affiliated characters, we've got Wasp, we've got Black Cat, and we've got the Black Widow. We did go with the Black Widow over Spider-Woman. Very easily to swap that in. We've got some splash characters in here, obviously, as well. Namor, that we already spoke about. We've taken Maximus the Mad, because, again, those rerolls are going to be so good at, for keeping us alive longer. Spectacular Spider-Man. It gives us that second midline extract grab play. And when you see one of the crises that we've taken, you'll see the reason why. And then to round it out, we've gone with Ghost Spider. Ghost Spider has a huge amount of movement. She's almost like an honorary A-Force member anyway. That web line is just really good, stupidly good. Spider technique, great attack. Again, she just moves around, but the big thing for her is going to be this lifesaver. Just pulling people out of the way and keeping them alive. And again, if we can feed one power into her turn one, we can comfortably move characters up to the middle and then have her be there to be able to pull them away so they do not get attacked. Let's go through and take a look at the crisis cards that we have taken. This is a new world that we are living in. So, Cosmic Invasion. This is going to be a D map. I think we can play very nicely on D maps. Yes, we're not going to be taking characters like Maximus, but look at all of that movement that we've got. It's really nice. Guardian save Shia Empress in style. This is one that I think can work really well. Again, lots of characters who can be on one point, pay to flip, move to the next, pay to flip, move to the next, pay to flip, potentially giving us, 3 50-50 shots with the last activation of a round and switching 3 of those points. And if they've got an extract, you can re-roll 1 die with it as well. So it's potentially really good. It's not 50-50, sorry, this one. This is the one that you need more hit crits and wild, but you do get that re-rolling, which is always going to be better than an extra dice. And then we've gone for Wedding Party. Again, I think this works really well. It's a little bit lower scoring, so we can maybe go into the attrition side of things a little bit more, brings people into the middle. Maximus has potential in there. Losing 1 power is far less effective to you when you're generating it for free than it is for your opponent. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. We don't really mind it too much. And 20 threat, I think they can do really well at 20 threat. Fear Grips, absolute standard. Again, we've got 2 midline extract grabs that we can put out there should we wish. Inhumans deploy advanced weaponry. We don't really have anybody that is that susceptible to energy, which is nice. This is going to be very good on grunts. We're not bringing any grunts, but this card is particularly good with grunts. It really boosts them up. But you can see there the deployment on this. There are 2 midline extracts on either side of the board. So we want to make sure that we have the ability to be able to go up and take them. So having that, having those 2 options is really nice for this. And then lastly, Montesi formula found. I would say that with this, if I have priority, I'm going to be picking Inhumans. That's the one that I'm going to be going for. Sorry, I'm Inhumans. I'm going to be picking my Secures. That's what I'm going to be going for. I think that's the way that it works. Obviously, depending on what your opponent has. But I think really this really works well when you have that priority and you can take that midline extract. Okay, next up. Cards that we are bringing. We have got A-Force Assemble, Brace for Impact, Grievous Wound. We'll get onto that in a second. Patch Up, Prince's Protection, Pin Particles that we spoke about, Special Delivery we spoke about, Stalwart we spoke about, Cat and the Spider, we know what that does. Go watch the video. And then Vertical Assistance. Let's get on to Grievous Wounds. This is a really interesting one. You could easily swap this out for a survival. You could swap it out for a recalibration matrix, something like that. We are going to be seeing a lot, at least for the first few months, a lot of Midnight Suns and a lot of healing from iHulk. This is a really, really nice counter to iHulk. If you don't like countering against a specific thing, Dracula as well as another one, then don't take this, swap it out for recal, swap it out for survival. But I think with the amount of Midnight Suns we're seeing at the moment, I think this could be very, very prevalent. And there we go, guys. That is my 15-minute-ish. I'll have to see what I edit it down to at the end. Breakdown of A-Force. We have something coming up very, very special in just over a month and 2 weeks time. More details will be coming very, very soon. I'm just trying to finalize a few details, but for anyone that has been a fan of the channel for a long time, you'll remember we did a 24 that ended up turning into like a 30-hour stream where I played once with every single affiliation. We did it for charity. We raised something like £4,000, I think it was. It was absolutely amazing. Yeah, watch this space. Something is going to be coming. What do I think of A-Force? I think A-Force have had a bump up. I think they're really missing a secondary leader, just so you're not always forced into that 6-threat option. But they've got some great characters. And if you can supplement those great characters with other supporting splash characters, I think they can do a really, really good job in this new world. Guys, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much to all of our Patreon supporters and YouTube members. You guys really, really do help so much. And if you do want to support us, you can do so from as little as £1 a month. There'll be a link down in the description below for Patreon. And then just hit that join button for the YouTube membership. But as always, you don't need to do any of those things. None of my content is behind a paywall, so you'll always be able to see everything that we do. Check out the Discord. There are, I don't know how many people are on there now, lots. We hold monthly MCP events where you can get to try out all of these cool new things. Also, a big shout out to Leoda's Games, sponsor of the channel. And as always, guys, it leaves me with just enough time to say stay well, keep safe, and until next time, bye for now.